Hi, in this video, we're going to walk through how you can find information to create a hot sheet or community page that should rank on Google. And also to some degree, get a feel for whether or not you will be able to rank that for that keyword term. In this case, I'm going to use as an example a neighborhood in Roswell, Georgia called Martin's Landing. And this can be done for any community page or hot sheet that you're creating. And we're going to follow a method that many marketers and SEOs know about writing blog posts called the skyscraper method. We're going to follow that very similar, but we're going to adapt it for creating hot sheets using Showcase IDX. So in this case, I go to Google. Ideally, you should open an incognito window. That means there's no cookies and Google will not be influencing your search results based on your previous search history. I'm going to type, in this case, I mentioned Martin's Landing, and I'm going to add Roswell, GA, because for all I know, there could be other Martin's Landing. That could be a brand in some cases. And I want to make sure that Google knows I'm looking for something local. So I'm going to add that Roswell, Georgia. And I'm going to scroll down. And I'm going to use Command on a Mac or Control on a PC. You can also, when I click on these, or you can right mouse click and open up and say, open in a new tab. And I'm going to maybe go through the first 4 to 5 pages. This first listing is for the actual website for the neighborhood. I've already been there. I do know that it doesn't have great information. It will be hard to outrank maybe if that neighborhood does happen to have a page by themselves. But I see right away, there's a lot of national pages, Realtor.com, Apartments Guide, Zillow, Apartments.com. These are all like in the first 5 listings. And so that gives me a feel right away that I'm probably going to be able to create a page that if I do the right work, I'm going to be able to outrank those, because those are all created algorithmically. They've used a machine to go through to try to source information and create something. And it's going to be based more on MLS data and not MLS data with local knowledge or content that would actually be valuable to a consumer. But as I scroll through, while I might skip over some of those national ones, here looks like a realtor. There's Nextdoor. If I go to the next page, here's Metro Atlanta Homes. I might open that, a couple of these others. What I'm looking for is I'm going to open up a bunch of pages here. And if it looks like there's not real useful information on it, then you can just close that tab and you don't have to do it. But you're going to go quickly through to find, does it look like there's useful information or not useful information? In this case, I found several that seem to have a good amount of text on there. It tells me it's close to the Chattahoochee River. There's a walking path around there. You think about if you had took off the glasses of your worldview for what you do know or do not know about this community. Is there information here that would be useful to you? Okay, this feels useful. Here's another one, AtlantaTownhomes.com. It ranked in the first couple of pages, so while it's focused on townhomes, there may be something here that I'm interested in. Schools are listed. I'll keep that up for reference. Active Rain. For those of you that aren't familiar with Active Rain, it's a real estate website, kind of a blog and a community. It was really big like 5, 8, maybe even 10 years ago. Now there's only a couple 100,000 agents on it and service professionals. So if it has content on it, and it ranks, it may be good for you to use as a refresh or content you can refresh to make current and modern for the hot sheet that you're creating. Again, here's that walking trail that's mentioned. When you see something mentioned multiple times, you think that's probably useful. Click on one more. Okay, this one does not look useful to me at all, so I'm going to close that. And then, wow, this one here, it's on a Keller Williams agent's website. It ranks, and well, there's 12 subdivisions roll up into one. So what I've seen real quick in just finding 4 pages here, there's enough information that even if I lived in a different part of the country, I could probably cobble together a much better write-up about this subdivision than what any of these are standalone. But we don't stop there, because we don't want to just be a little bit better. We want you to write a page and content that's 3 times or 10 times better. So some of what that's useful to is how can you put videos in? So you're creating a page for an agent. You do not want to use competitive agents or competitive brokerages videos. but there's often a lot of videos or content that you might be able to source for free. And so if I go to YouTube and I just type Martin's Landing, Roswell, Georgia again, and I see what comes up, there's not always going to be videos that work, but this first one's pretty interesting. And I bring it up and it shows it's from Home Scene Inc. And when I go and investigate what they are, you see real quick, they're a virtual tour company. Oh, let me close that. It's got some sound coming up. They're a virtual tour company. So they're not a competing agent. So this is a video, it's on YouTube. Any video that's on YouTube that when you click share has an embed section on here when you scroll over. Oh, there's embed. Anything that has that means that it's free from a licensing perspective. You are allowed to use it on your website. Well, this is a pretty good video. It's aerial views of things around the community within there. That's great. So by just doing a quick Google search on YouTube, I was able to find a video that's probably relevant for me to put on my page. Now I'm going to put below the home listings that I have because home listings are probably more important, but that's pretty interesting. If I keep searching down that page, here's another one that's a tour of Roswell, Georgia. That was created by a local video company. It's not selling homes. That's, again, it could be an interesting video. You have to decide if it's going to be relevant for your page, whether or not you're comfortable putting it on there. But this video is, again, because I can click on share and I see embed, that means because they've uploaded it to YouTube, they've given YouTube the rights to display it on other pages. So all you have to do is grab that URL, and if you're creating in WordPress, it's usually really simple to just click YouTube when you're adding a block. If you're using a visual editor, they'll often have a YouTube embed as well, and you can just copy in that URL. Boom, the video is going to show for you. I might also, well, let me come back to this. When I also search for Martin's Landing, because it's a local search, one of the things that's going to pop up is going to be a map inset here on Google. If you click on that, here's what that map looks like. So again, imagine that maybe I'm the local agent creating this myself. Maybe I'm the marketing agency that's not local. I'm in the next county over, the next state, maybe even across the country. And I want to know, if there's other information that I want to put on the hot sheet that I'm going to create for Martin's Lake or Martin's Landing. Well, first of all, Google shows me the map center. And so Google's literally going to give me everything in this map that I might want to search for more. So first of all, as it pops up, you see it's along the Chattahoochee River. I was mentioning some of the descriptions. If I just zoom out a little bit more, wow, I noticed there's a lot of little parks around here as well. Big Creek Park. I can click in here, East Roswell Park. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. Horseshoe Bend Country Club. That's pretty interesting to me, just in terms of, okay, it's close to a lot of national parkland. That might be something either one I want to mention, or I might want to Google just a little bit to go, what is the Chattahoochee River National Recreation Area? If you don't know, do a quick Google search for that, and you're going to find more information that you might want to add to that hot sheet. If I continue to scroll around on here too, I'm local to Roswell, Georgia, so I happen to know this, but I'm looking for things that might look like a slightly different icon. There's another park, Roswell River Boardwalk. Wow, this thing is great. If you happen to click through it, you're going to see that they have built a boardwalk or riverwalk that goes for miles along the Chattahoochee River. That's something else that you could easily find that you would not know about if you didn't do a Google search. And you just can scroll along here and see if there are just other things that pop up. It's not always going to happen, but you may find things that just with a quick 5-minute search, 10-minute search on Google, walking through the skyscraper method, you're going to, find content, written content that's relevant for you to piece together and then add perhaps some local knowledge and write better. You're also going to be able to use this map search to find other things that are close to that community that you want to do a Google search for, and then include some of that information. And I've shown you how to go through YouTube and do searches in a couple of different ways. One, both on, I mentioned the Roswell Riverwalk. I searched for Roswell Riverwalk. That Riverwalk that we showed. And here's a variety of videos that could be of interest for you to include as well. Rather than just creating a simple hot sheet that has a polygon search or a save search that you embed, which is still good, you've now been able to create perhaps 500 or even 1,500 words of valuable content describing then that community, and maybe even a couple of videos in there. That's a lot more useful for consumers. So I hope these tips help you as you create hot sheets that will rank on Google.